Good evening. I'm tired. I'm reluctant. And I'm feeling a little bit stubborn right now because I don't really want to be doing this tonight. It is not that I don't want to read the Bible for myself. I really don't feel like recording it and uploading it and sharing it with the world, who is like probably not watching anyway, which makes me feel bad on a whole different level. But then the flip side of that is that if people actually were watching this, then this video would be open for scrutiny and judgment, and I don't want to deal with that either. So anyway, I'd rather just read by myself. But I already started. I committed to this, and I'm gonna see it through because I trust God and that He has a purpose for why I'm doing this. And I don't know what that is right now, but I'm not going to question it. Well, I am going to question it, but I'm not going to question it to the point that I don't do what I'm supposed to do. I'm just going to like inwardly grumble a little bit, and I think that's okay. I think I'll be forgiven. So today is Genesis chapter 7, which is where Noah actually enters the ark and the animals come, right? And there's at least two things that you need to keep in mind as I read this. The first being that according to the specifications that God gave to Noah in terms of building the ark, this was a huge craft. This was similar to like a shipping vessel. Okay, so I think I read something that said the square footage available, when you also take into consideration that there were 3 decks to this thing, something like 1.33 million cubic feet of space. This is very big. We're not talking about a little boat, and we're also not talking about every single species and subspecies being present. We're talking about types of animals, kinds. So you have the horse kind, which would later encompass zebras and donkeys and everything in the equine variety, right? You have your big cat type, which later turns into tigers and lions and panthers and cheetahs and whatever else. So you don't have to have a representative of every single individual creature. You just have to have the family group. Because while the supposition that we evolved from apes from a Christian perspective is incorrect, the process of evolution by which animals change and adapt over time, that's very real. God invented that Himself, so we're not arguing about that. And with that being the case, we're starting over from scratch. We're repopulating on a cleansed earth. You set the animals free, and you let time do its thing, and you let environment do its thing, and natural adaptations, and boom, now it's 2020. And then there was like a third point that was made that I thought was pretty interesting, and I'd never heard it before. It is likely, it doesn't say it specifically, but it is likely that the animals which entered the ark with Noah and his family were quite possibly juveniles. Okay, they're smaller, they're more tame, they eat less, they create less waste, and then they also have like a maximized reproduction potential because they're young. Did I say that they're smaller? Because that's important too in terms of how we fit and everything on here. Yeah, so I think with those 2 or 3 ideas in mind, I'm going to go ahead and read this and turn the camera off and get ready for bed. Okay, so this is Genesis chapter 7, the Great Flood. It's just literally the title that was inserted here. Anyway, okay. Verse 1. Then the Lord said to Noah, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous." Oh, I've messed up already. I just started. I just started. No, I'm going to keep going. Then the Lord said to Noah, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. You shall take with you 7 each of every clean animal, a male and his female, 2 each of animals that are unclean, a male and his female. Also 7 each of birds of the air, male and female, to keep the species alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy from the face of the earth all living things that I have made." And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters were on the earth. So Noah with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of clean animals, of animals that are unclean, of birds, and of everything that creeps on the earth, 2 by 2 they went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, on that day all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. And the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On the very same day, Noah and Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wife and the 3 wives of his sons with them entered the ark. They and every beast after its kind, all cattle after their kind, every creeping thing that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark to Noah, 2 by 2, of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. So those that entered, male and female of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. Now the flood was on the earth 40 days. The waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. The waters prevailed and greatly increased on the earth, and the ark moved about on the surface of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly on the earth, and all the high hills under the whole heaven were covered. The waters prevailed 15 cubits upward, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, and every man. All in whose nostrils was the breath of the Spirit of life, all that was on the dry land died. So he destroyed all living things which were on the face of the ground, both man and cattle, creeping thing, and bird of the air. They were destroyed from the earth. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark remained alive. And the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days. As I'm reading this, verse 14 says, "They and every beast after its kind, all cattle after their kind, every creeping thing that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort." Why was a distinction made with the birds? Every bird of every sort. That was not stated for the other categories of animal. So what's up with that? I don't know. It's just stuff to think about. This is the thing. When you, well, really me, when I read, I want to be able to stop and ponder, or even stop and go like research and get clarity on certain things. But because I'm not entirely clear on what I'm supposed to be doing here, I don't know, do I just read straight through so that you can hear it straight through? You who's not even watching this, right? You imaginary people. Or do I read it like I would read it by myself? Am I giving a glimpse into the Bible study of someone who is coming back to the Word after years of being absent and distant? Or do I approach it as I would, 7 years ago when I was in the Word every day and I was in church and I was, like, what do I do? I don't know. And if anyone is watching this, if anybody's watching this, literally comment and tell me what you think. What do you think is going on here? What do you think I should do? I'm not saying that I'm going to listen to you, because I have to listen, I have to listen to God first and foremost, but I definitely would love to have some conversation, get some thoughts. Nobody knows that I'm doing this. I did post the first video, Genesis 1. I posted that on my Facebook, and a few of my friends, I've only got like 10 friends on there, a few of my friends liked it, and I'm pretty sure like 3 or 4 of them watched it, which is very nice of them. But Other than those people, nobody knows that this is going on. I don't really have a lot of people that I can talk to about this particular project. I think maybe I could talk to my brother. Maybe I'll give him a call. I don't know if I feel like it, but we'll see.